Guys, it's Magic X Colt and Blackberry David, and today we're going to be making a Magic the Gathering video.
This is actually our third attempt now, because neither of us know timing, so let's see if it works this time. So we have compiled our top 10 cards, our top 10 Magic the Gathering cards, right here, having no specific order except our best at the bottom. So let's get into it, shall we? First we got the McKinley Ox. Sorry if I butcher any of these names. I'm not the best. So what this card does is whenever you play a land, you get to tap an opponent's one of the opponent's creatures. So this card can keep many things from happening, honestly. And it has a base of 4/4, making it a strong attacker too. So overall, this card is just a really good one for a control or attack deck. And next, we have the Final Death. This one exiles target's creatures. This card can be really good when you're facing an opponent who may have a strong, even fatal card that you just don't have a way of blocking. So using this can prevent many damage from happening. And it's best on a control deck, but it is a good backup for aggressive decks. And next we have Vivian, Nature's Avenger. This Planeswalker, is really strong for attack decks because she gains loyalty for putting a 1/1 counter on a target creature. So that's really good, and it helps you. And it takes away only 1 for revealing the top of your library until you get a creature card. That's really good. You put the card into your hand and the rest go to the bottom. So this card can be really well when you're wanting to get a quick creature. And then taking away 6, that is pricey, but it's worth it. Because the target creature gets plus 10 attack and plus 10 health. And gains trample until the end of the turn. So this card is really, really good for aggressive decks, because it can boost the attack of your creatures while helping it and giving you almost guaranteed. So yeah, this card, sorry about the little cutoff, but this card is really good for aggressive decks because it helps you and can give you, it can be the difference between winning and losing. So yeah, that's why we added this card. And next, we got the Ozlith. Now this one, it took us a little while to figure out what it does. But once we did, we had no hesitation adding it.
This card is so OP.
So, when a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it has counters on it, then it goes onto this card. Remember, this card only takes 1 mana. So you can put it down almost instantly. And at the beginning of your combat turn, if the Ozlith has counters on it, then you can move it to any creatures any way you like. So, let's say you have a card that puts such counters onto itself or other things. Well, if that dies, those counters move to this. It's a link card.
It's like a magnet.
Yeah, it's pretty much a magnet that can power up your cards and itself. So this card is really, really strong for aggressive decks.
Go.
And next we have the Wakeroot Elemental. This card, I had no hesitation adding him. This card, any untapped lands that you control gets 5 attack and 5 health. And it's still a land. and the creatures have haste, so they can attack instantly. This card is so strong, and you will not regret getting it, especially on your aggressive decks.
Go.
Okay, and next we got Forever Young. Put any number of target creatures cards from the graveyard to the top of your library, and then you draw a card. This card is really strong when you just lost that one card, or maybe even a couple cards that are really powerful. This will allow you to get those back and have a second chance. It's a really strong card to have on aggressive decks because it can bring back those super strong cards that control deck may have destroyed. Next we have the Cauldron of Eternity. This spell costs 2 less for each creature card in your graveyard. So that, because this takes 12, 10 of any, and 2 death. This card, because if you have any creatures in the graveyard, that goes down. So it can go down even to the point where you only have to pay 2 cards. Whenever a creature you control dies, put it at the bottom of the owner's library. You can pay 2 life and tap this card by having 2 of any and a death, and you can turn target creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. You can activate this only at times you cast a sorcery, though. This card is really, really strong because it can keep your cards from dying, which can cancel out any of the opponent's cards that may have benefit off that, and it can keep you from needing those cards back. So this is a really, really strong card, but it only works for your graveyard, so exiled cards do not get saved by this. Okay, and next we have the Doomblade.
Oh, this card's like really OP when you're gonna be against a non-black deck.
This card only takes 2 mana, so this can be played really, really close to the beginning of the game, and it destroys any creature as long as it's not a death card. So this card is really strong, taking out your opponents quickly, keeping them from attacking. It's really good for control and aggressive because of the way it cancels them out. Next, we have the Renegade Demon. It's 5 attack and 3 health. Its cost is a little pricey, but this card, it can mow straight through the opponents, and it takes a little bit for it to die. So, it's a really good card for aggressive. Last, but definitely not least, we have
The God card.
Eridos Blankhearted, sorry. This is a legendary enchantment creature, God. It's indestructible. As long as the devotion of black is less than 5, it's not a creature. Whenever another creature you control dies, you can pay 2 life and draw a card. And if you have a death mana and 1 of any mana, you can sacrifice a creature. You can sacrifice a creature you have, and then you can choose a target creature that gets -2 attack and -1 health until the end of the turn. So this is really, really strong for aggressive decks because of its invincibility. Can get you to you won't have to die or worry about putting this card in a risky situation. So it is super, super powerful and super strong for your aggressive decks. Now, since we showed you the cards, we're going to give you a little bit of a rundown on what some of the cards mean. No, I should probably do. Sorry about that. We are not smart today, apparently. So, rarity is what we're going to tell you about right now. In case you're just new to Magic, or you don't really understand it. So let's start with this. See the gold? That means it's rare / legendary. These cards are usually heavy hitters or really strong artifacts.
Or they're super rare.
Yeah, and they're super rare. And then there's black. These cards are common. Yes, they're common, but as we've showed you with all of these, they're common but strong.
There's 4, I believe. 4?
We have 5 of them in here.
No, there's like 4. There's 4 rare types of rarities, right?
Yes.
You-
Next, next is Mythic. Mythic, as you can see for these really strong cards, are better than Legendary. They're super hard to get, but they're so worth it once you do. And then one type that we don't have in here, which I will display with one of my deck cards.
Silver.
Is silver. This is uncommon. They're still good, but they not good as legendaries or mythics. So these cards it's good to get them, but don't count yourself super lucky for it. That's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Okay, Magic Skull, Blackbear David, we're out.